That is the sound of a distracted, divided, and dead American until they hear. Battle for freedom, triggering change, one heartbeat at a time. Hello everyone, this is Watson Prunier from Battle for Freedom and Mojo5 Radio. Listen, it is the end of the week and it is time to deplug, deconnect, disconnect, reconnect, whatever connection that you need to make. Just be ready for whatever's next. Actually, today we're going to talk about PolitiWhat? PolitiWhat, the Prunier Institute. So again, yesterday I did Watson Scientific. Today I'm doing PolitiWhat as we do just a nice play on words. My website, Battle4Freedom.com, but I also want you to go to Mojo50.com. Share this out with everyone as you can. If you want to, go to Facebook.com and Mojo50 Radio. Facebook.com/Mojo50 Radio, and you can interact with a lot of people. I see that Kathy, Heidi, Amy, and Carrie have joined, and many more will have a chance to just share and just hope that we can say something that will contribute to making your day that much more exciting as we get in here. Yesterday, I meant to share this, but yesterday I was on a rumble. I just couldn't stop talking, for crying out loud. I'm a radio show host, and I just can't stop talking. It reminds me of that song in the 70s? It says, or 70s or 80s, it said, "Don't push me because I'm close to the edge. I'm about to lose my head." Well, I think I was there yesterday as I was trying to get through the different topics of where we are and just breaking down the science and showing how there's inconsistencies in the science. Today, I want to talk about the whole idea of PolitiWhat. Now, if there's fact checks, we're going to get in quickly into talking about what Joe Biden said the other night during his address to Congress. Basically, I love how they rename it and call it the address to Congress instead of the State of the Union. It's just to basically get us away from the idea that we had gone so long before something like this would happen. Nothing should have stopped this from happening, as that is done in every other time. No reason apart from the puppet show that's taking place right now. And maybe many of those of you who don't fully understand what I'm going to talk about, maybe what you need is a cup of American Pride Roasters coffee. Go to AmericanPrideRoasters.com and order yourself Watson's White Chocolate Caramel Blend and so many other different blends. But you have to get American Pride Roasters coffee. Why? One, it's the official coffee of Mojo50 Radio. And two, it's going to be the best coffee you're going to get in the nation. Okay? Just being honest, being real. It's going to be the best coffee you're going to get in the nation. So I don't even have to go to reason 3. Just the first 2 reasons alone. Being the official coffee of Mojo50 Radio, and 2, being the best coffee in the nation. There's no other reason to go. Don't look for 3. Just go to AmericanPrideRoasters.com right now and do it. Do it! I see that Sarah, Lep, Linda, and Lisa, they've joined. Thank you for joining and being part of this. But a friend of mine shared, I'm going to get this thing for you so you can see what this is about. This was a very interesting it was a very interesting post I saw the other day. And I think it really hits home as to why there's so much confusion it hits so much as to why we have so much confusion in this country, why people are so easy to buy the lies and the lies and the deception and everything that's going on. It's because of the fact that we have so many distractions. And I have to share this. There was this, here it is. Okay. So here's the image that came with the following post. She shared this, and this was from a woman named Julie Holland Griggs. This was shared on April 13th. She says, in preparation for reading Fahrenheit 451, my class did a little social experiment today. While they were working at their desks, I had them quietly move to the board and make a tally mark each time they got a notification on their phone. Grand total for the day, 1,678 notifications. That's 1,678 notifications to learning caused by cell phones. One of the central ideas of Fahrenheit 451 is that constant, mindless distractions prevent people from developing authentic relationships and suppress deep thought. And you know what? This would be a very interesting experiment for you to do as well. Today, count how many times there is some kind of electronic distraction. Good morning, Tim, and good morning, Jennifer Owens, May, and Mitchell. Thank you for joining. Count how many times you get yourself on your mobile device an electronic distraction that keeps you off task on what it is that you're trying to accomplish. Listen, I talk to friends all day long. I have, and then I'm trying to focus on work, and I get a lot of emails. I get instant messages about this problem and this problem. And it's like, okay, well, go through the normal navigation system that we use for putting in tickets. So, because if you keep overwhelming me and hitting me, you're distracting me from actually focusing on, and I'm telling you, it's crazy. I have so many tack marks of interruptions, but it's, there's so many distractions that we create in our lives, not just the people who reach us, but the ones that we create ourselves. We create so many distractions so that we can't even stay focused on deep thought. We cannot develop a relationship with deep thought because of the fact that we create. Yeah, friends call you all hours of the day. Yeah, Tim. That we create this problem. So that what happens is when Joe Biden can say whatever he wants to during the address the nation, because a lot of this stuff, when you sit there and you're hearing something he says, and you're like, wait, hold on a second, ding, or just like in the movie Up, squirrel. We get these squirrels that distract us from asking the right questions. So PolitiFact did a lot of fact checking on Joe Biden and what he said during this. So I want to go into what PolitiFact has done. Okay? I want to go through PolitiFact. I want to share all this stuff because of the fact that these points that they brought up were very, very interesting. These points were very interesting. So let's get into some of the different things that they were saying. I just love this because we're going to go point one by one, and we're going to address this here. This is the first one that he said. The economy created more than 1.3 million new jobs in 100 days, more new jobs in the first 100 days than any president on record. Now, see, one of the things that, before we even look into what PolitiFact had to say on the situation, I kind of took issue with this statement only from this perspective. And the reason why is every time that Donald Trump made a statement like that, the media went apoplectic. Every time Donald Trump said anything about more than any other president, more than any other person in history has done this, the media always went to, he's so arrogant. Everything he says comes out of his mouth is full of lies. You remember that? Literally, Donald Trump, see, this is the part that I don't understand because it's like PolitiWhat? Because when you sat there and you watched, good morning, Renee, thank you for joining. As you sit there and you watch how the media went, and I had a lot of friends, Christian friends, black friends, white friends, who like everything that came out of Donald Trump's mouth is a lie, and we need to put an end to this level of corruption. I'm just sitting there thinking like, wait, hold on a second here. All politicians lie. Yeah, it's a political thing, but Donald Trump lying right now is a threat to our nation. But I did not have sexual relations with that woman. If you like your plan, you can keep your plan. There was no outcry. There was no distraught level of some kind of crazy opera going on at the time. But it was Donald Trump. All of a sudden, the nature of that whole thing changed. Why? Why did we have to wait so long? Thanks for joining, Curtis. Why do we have to wait so long to be consistent in our indignation against who, regardless of whoever is in the office, that we say we will not tolerate deception, we will not tolerate the deceiving nature of these individuals? But we do. We continue to tolerate it. We continue to push this off. Well, let's get into what PolitiFact had to say, because this is what I find very interesting. With this, because you have to understand, I'm sharing what Biden said during this. And the reason why I share this is because of the fact that there's another audio I want to share with you, an audio clip I want to share with you in the second half of the program. But I also want to share an article that I got from, it was an article that I read the other day, and it came from the Heritage Foundation. Just talking about the whole idea of three nations that tried socialism and rejected it. Because as we sit here and we try to talk to people who are so hell-bent on believing that the $6 trillion that Joe Biden's about to spend is going to be the best thing for making jobs and making life more easy for everyone in this country, no. Socialism doesn't work. But people are too distracted to actually pay attention to a true conversation with truth and common sense to hear that everything that Joe Biden says is going to impale the success of the nation rather than catapult the success of the nation. $6 trillion is not pennies. Our children, our posterity, will be bankrupt for the rest of their lives because of believing more government fixes the problem. So I'll get into the nations that try to do that. But this is what I love how PolitiFact says this. This is basically accurate. Although Biden sidestepped a grimmer statistic, the current unemployment level remains 6.7 million jobs below its pre-pandemic level. See, this is the thing about it that I don't understand. How in the world now this is what PolitiFact is saying. So that means that someone is lying here, okay? And this is the reason why. Is because of the fact that we had numbers last week after the stock market dropped, the Dow dropped 300, 400 points on concerns about Biden's capital gains taxes, as Biden was going to start taxing the rich more. The next day, the Dow goes back up 300 points saying, oh yeah, we've got our new numbers and unemployment is lower than it was pre-pandemic levels. Okay. If unemployment is less than it was pre-pandemic levels, PolitiFact, who is a left-leaning organization, says that you have 6.72 million jobs less than you had before the pandemic. So how do you have 6.72 million jobs less and less unemployment? Unless you are fudging the numbers, right? But we don't want to talk about the lies because Donald Trump, everything that Donald Trump says is a lie. It comes out of his mouth. Everything he says is a lie. So the Pinocchio Award, man, that nose is starting to grow. Let's look at the next one. When I was vice president, the president asked me to focus on providing help needed to address the root causes of migration. And it helped keep people in their own countries instead of being forced to leave. The plan was working, but the last administration decided it was not worth it. Wow. Yeah. See, Pinocchio alert again. When we sit here and we watch and we were looking here. You remember back in 2016, 2017, and they were taking pictures and they were showing pictures of kids in cages, and they're like, he's putting kids in cages, but they don't want to tell you that it was the Biden and the Obama and Biden administration that actually built the cages and had the kids in cages first. So we don't want to sit there and tell you about that. Oh my goodness. But this idea that the previous administration didn't want to address the situation. Oh, no. They did a better job in addressing the situation. It's a nightmare at the border. But Joe Biden and the media is hiding the nightmare at the border. You actually have to get senators. Hold on a second. You have to get senators, Republican senators, to go down to the border to get a picture of everything that's going on there because of the fact that they don't want to be honest about this. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? But this is what PolitiFact says. This is exaggerated. The Obama administration in 2014 approved more aid to Central America countries to tackle issues causing people to migrate to the United States. The Trump, and it's like, no. If there was aid that was there, they never would have been coming into our country. But they were still coming. And here's my thing about it, is how can we continue to promise aid to other countries that are invading our country when we won't even take care of the people who need aid in our country? Our vets. Oh, we can't talk about that. You remember how the administration busted? It was busted during Barack Obama's administration about how horrific the Veterans Affair, the VA was. But then they roll into the Trump administration and they try and find all these instances where the VA is bad and they try and push that on Trump. See, Donald Trump inherited the good economy from Barack Obama, but it didn't inherit the horrific VA. I find it very interesting how we continue to good one, Curtis. That's very accurate. I think I am allergic to Biden's BS. As you sit here and you watch this stuff, you're like, oh, wait, hold on a second. How do we get to this thing here? But they keep lying. Let's go to another one. In the 1990s, we passed universal background checks and a ban on assault weapons and high-capacity magazines that holds 100 rounds that can be fired in seconds. Mass shootings and gun violence declined, but in the early 2000s, that law expired, and we've seen daily bloodshed since. PolitiFact says that the data on this question varies significantly, but studies have found evidence supporting Biden's assertion. Studies? What studies? What studies? As you sit here and you look at this, because here's the thing about this: past universal background checks and ban on assault weapons. Okay, were there a ban on assault weapons? Yes, but capacities that hold 100 rounds and that can be fired in seconds. That stuff had been banned long before. But we don't have that discussion because all you have to do is make a generic statement. If this is what we have done, see, the thing about it is Biden's making these generic statements and not being specific on the details of what he's saying. Oh yeah, well his statement was pretty much supported. We can support his aid. We don't get specific. Don't say what date, what year we did this, because it's interesting how when we sit and try and expose everything about what Donald Trump has done, we have everything he said in a locker room. We have everything he has said in confidence with every other individual. We have everything that Donald Trump has said on a phone call from someone sitting across a restaurant. We have everything specific on what Donald Trump says, but when it gets into talking about what the economy looks like, what employment looks like, what the numbers look like, what gun bans look like, we get very generic. And of course, PolitiFact can get behind and sit there and say, yeah, it was okay. Donald Trump will be ripped apart by this point now. We'd have 17 pages of how we were going to shut down that no, we can't support what he's saying. Oh my goodness. I think I am getting allergic to this junk. There's a broader census of economics, left, right, center, and they agree that what I am proposing will help create millions of jobs and generate historic economic growth. What does PolitiFact say? This is exaggerated. Many economists support Biden's proposals, but there are also some notable dissenters. Some? How do you go from many and some. No. It's many and many. To say that he's got more people supporting him, listen, hear this. This whole myth about you have to spend money to make money is wrong. You have to invest money to make money. But the government is now about to spend literally in this, check this out. In the last 4 months, Joe Biden is proposing to spend more money than Donald Trump has spent in 4 years. Okay, do you hear this? Because what was it, a $2 trillion package earlier? A $2 trillion package earlier, and now he's a $6 trillion package. That's going to be $8 trillion in 4 months proposed by Joe Biden. Donald Trump spent $7 trillion in 4 years. Don't talk about a deficit. Don't talk about spending. Don't talk about reckless money. When in 4 months, Joe Biden is proposing to spend more money than Donald Trump spent in 4 years. How is this creating historic growth? Yes, Sarah, invest and repeat. Yeah, exactly. Create millions of jobs. What about, thank you. Where did she say that? There you go, Renee. Create millions of jobs. What about the ones that need to be filled right now? What about the 6.72 million that were lost since pre-pandemic situation? We don't have to have that conversation here. The recession caused by the coronavirus pandemic was the worst economic crisis in history. You know what? See, this, they say 2 key metrics back this up. You know what? I don't even have to go to the metrics. I'm going to go to 2 key words. Common sense. Common sense. We shut down the nation during the hottest economy, and you expect things to get better? PolitiFact, you didn't have to go to the key metrics. It's common sense. But see, a lot of people don't seem to understand it because right now, because organizations like you and CNN and other places have convinced people, you shared data that convinced people to make them believe that the reason why coronavirus is here, the reason why 400,000 people died was because of Donald Trump, because negligence on his part, about him abandoning programs that would save American lives. But where are you, PolitiFact, on Cuomo? Where are you on Newsom? Where are you on Whitmer? Where are you on these Democrats who obstructed the process of the president trying to save lives? Where are you on the congressmen and the Democrat congressmen and congresswomen and senators who sat there and they opposed Donald Trump, calling him a xenophobic, a racist, because he's trying to protect us? Nowhere to be found. Because I hope in the PolitiFacts, you're actually backing up the data with the political obstructionists that prevented Donald Trump from actually helping us keep less people dead. We don't have that conversation. We're going to just keep, because it's all about the facts. Yeah, right, whatever. Nearly 90% of infrastructure jobs created in American jobs plans don't require a college degree. 75% don't require an associate's degree. Now, this is the one I don't understand, because the PolitiFact is saying that this comes with caveats. One, they said that the different count of this, the first people count different things as infrastructure, and calling 1.5 trillion of the proposal infrastructure as one of the most generous definitions. I love how they said that. It's one of the most generous definitions because of the fact that, again, they're not being accurate with the truth. They're not being accurate with the truth. Yeah, he's got some Common Core educated dipsies writing his speeches. Yes, he does. I also love how he says this whole idea that that actually PolitiFact says, second, no bill has been written yet. A final version could include significant changes. Almost definitely it can include significant changes.
And now, Mommy at church. Mommy?
Yeah?
I'm hungry. Yeah, I'm hungry too.
Yes, girls. Mommy's hungry too. We will get something to eat when your daddy is ready. Let's all go to the bathroom.
10 minutes later. Almost done.
Mommy?
What can I do for you?
Why is Daddy taking so long? Awkward!
Because Daddy is a preacher and preachers have to talk to everyone.
Triggered! But isn't church over?
Baby, church is never over for preachers.
20 minutes later.
Why is Daddy still talking? Triggered!
Because Daddy has to take 15 minutes with every person he talks to.
Triggered! Triggered! Whoa! Ain't that the truth? Triggered!
Hey guys, let's get going.
I love being married to your dad.
Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Watson Prunier from Battle4Freedom on Mojo 5 Radio, and I'm glad that you're joining me on this Friday as we sit here. We have fun with this. I know I need help. We all need help, especially for those who actually believe everything that Joe Biden said in his address to Congress a few days ago. I'm talking about that as we talk about PolitiWhat? The Prunier Institute, as I'm just trying to break down a lot of this information, and we go from there. Good morning, Ginger. Thank you for being part of this. And I love Curtis, who says, Daddy's taking Uber. That is awesome. So, you know, I've been going through this whole idea of what Biden has been saying with reference to addressing the nation. I want to go back to one of the statements that he said earlier. And this is the one that This actually is very interesting, okay? And work with me on this thing here. Joe Biden says nearly 90% of the infrastructure jobs created in the American Jobs Plan don't require a college degree. 75% don't require an associate's degree. Well, what's the difference between a college degree? You mean a bachelor's degree or an associate's degree? So let's look at this. So you're saying the people who are going to do this are going to be doing manual labor, or it's going to be more blue collar work, or it's going to be more manual labor, because that's what they're promoting by keeping the borders open. Let's not employ the people who are working here. And I would even say the manuels that are American citizens are losing their jobs to the manuels that they're letting come across the border. And the manuels who are American citizens would admit they're tired of manuel coming across the border and stealing their jobs. So for those of you who thought I was being xenophobic, those of you who thought I was being racist, no, not the case. I'm just keeping it real and keeping it true. If you want to know the truth, if you really want to hear the PolitiWhat? Yes, that's exactly what I just said. But I want to go back to this idea where he says that nearly 90% of the infrastructure jobs created in the American Jobs Plan don't require a college degree. 75% don't require an associate's degree. So regardless, it's a degree from college, right? So why all the fixation on sending people to college? Why the fixation on actually sending people, if these jobs, if your infrastructure plans don't require degrees, why put so much effort and energy into making school free for people if many of the jobs you're going to provide don't require a college degree? Uh, whoa, manual, to Jim. Oh my goodness, that's good. That's a good one. Thanks, man. This is. Let's go to the next one. Let's go quickly. I got to go through this quickly here. Thanks to the American Rescue Plan, we are on track to cut child poverty in America in half this year. Now, this is their opening statement is just all I need to say, and I'm going to stop there. No one can predict the future, but experts say that the analysis undergirding Biden's assertion are credible. However, the drop in child poverty only lasts for 1 year because the benefits will expire under current law. So, as you sit here and they say the whole idea is no one can predict the future. You remember last year when Donald Trump basically says that, he'll have 100 million vaccinated by April? And you had like goes the New York Times, the Washington Post, and all those other different agencies calling him a liar, saying he doesn't know what he's talking about. Then Biden comes out this year and says that 100 million will be vaccinated by April 17th. Huh. No one can predict the future except Democrats. I'd like to actually see what PolitiFact would have said to Donald Trump saying 100 million would be vaccinated by April, because if their statement doesn't say, but experts say the analysis undergirding Trump's assertions are credible, we got a problem here. We have a problem. So for those of you who had a chance, go to PolitiFact and try and see what do they say, because before they change your data so it can reflect exactly what they said about Donald Trump. Let's go to the next one. Let's raise the minimum wage to $15. No one working 40 hours a week should be living below the poverty line. I love this. They say this lacks context. Whether a person earning below $15 an hour is living in poverty depends on various factors, including the size of their household. So it lacks context. It's a lie. Not that it lacks context. It's a lie. A bold-faced lie. Donald Trump will be crucified for saying this by the media. CNN, MSNBC, NPR, every last one would have every one of their words of daggers cutting and piercing, cutting his every artery in his body. Sadistically, they would shred him to pieces just to see him bleed to death on that statement alone. Inconsistencies. No wonder no one wants to pay attention to you, Lester Holt. No wonder no one wants to pay attention to you guys. During these 100 days, an additional 800,000 Americans enrolled in the Affordable Care Act when I established a special sign-up. See, this is the thing about it, is they I'm stopping. Wait, let me see. Is there any more that I want to talk about on this one here? No, I'm not going to do that one here. Oh, this is the one I want to work on, because this other nonsense. You have to understand, a lot of the points that PolitiFact is focusing on, they're focusing on his statements that make him look great, and some that we can work with, but they didn't push out anything that says this is a full-blown lie. Okay? I mean, inaccurate? No. Donald Trump, this is a lie. But I want to focus on this one here, because this is the one that really bothers me. We won't ignore what our intelligence agencies have determined to be the most lethal terrorist threat to the homeland today: white supremacist terrorism. You keep pushing this narrative of white supremacy like there's no tomorrow, and people keep listening to you and believing what you're saying is truth, and it's nothing but a lie. You keep feeding them the poison, you keep feeding them the rat poison, and they will continue to they'll continue to swallow it and die on the poison and lies of what you said. It's not PolitiFact. Let's scratch fact. This is just political garbage that you have coming from PolitiFact, coming from these mainstream organizations, these fact-checking organizations that do nothing but bolster the lies of progressivism. Let's get away from this stuff because I'm really tired. I'm sick and tired of this right now. I want to go back to something else here. This is very interesting. It was an article from the Heritage Organization or Heritage Foundation, and they were talking about the whole idea. I just want to focus on the first 3 points, the key highlights of this thing here. I will put on my website a link to this. If you go to Battle4Freedom.com, and you'll get a chance to see how they break this thing down. But they said that Israel, India, and the United Kingdom all adopted socialism as an economic model following World War II. But socialism, second point, key point, socialism is guilty of a fatal conceit. It believes its system can make better decisions for the people than they can for themselves. And the third key point from this article, socialism has failed in every country in which it has been tried. See, you have to understand, it's circular in its condemnation in the last 2 statements alone. Socialism is guilty of a fatal conceit. It believes its system can make better decisions for the people than they can for themselves. Hence, socialism has failed in every country in which it has been tried because socialism is guilty by fatal conceit. We're in this never-ending loop that people keep thinking, we can do it better than the other people have. Spending more money, spending governments. Listen, Greece did it. Venezuela did it. We don't talk about Venezuela anymore. Why? We don't talk about them eating themselves. We don't talk about them eating animals. We don't talk about them eating dirt, trash, and probably nuclear waste. It's to kill themselves because of the fact that they're tired of dying of starvation. Socialism doesn't work. Take care, Linda. One of my friends shared this with me yesterday. And, I just need you to hear this. This is...
The masses have never thirsted after truth. They turn aside from evidence that is not to their taste, preferring to deify error if error seduce them. Whoever can supply them with illusions is easily their master. Whoever attempts to destroy their illusions is always their victim.
This is clear.
Diseases of the body can spread through a population and reach epidemic proportions, but so too can diseases of the mind. And of these epidemics of the latter variety, the mass psychosis is the most dangerous. During a mass psychosis, madness becomes the norm in a society, and delusionary beliefs spread like a contagion. But as
Now, and you have to understand something. The mass psychosis. Here's one of the many mass psychoses. What I just finished talking about. Socialism is what this country needs. This mass psychosis. Progressives are pushing it. The people who are in office, the people who are in power right now, are going to shove. They're going to rape socialism down our throats, into our minds. Systemic racism, white supremacy is what we have to worry about. The mass psychosis fixated on racism. That's mass psychosis. That listen, even though that 97% of black people are dying at the hands of other black people, the mass psychosis is that while cops and white people are killing black people, America is racist. Why do you think it's so easy to take over and deceive and manipulate the black community? Because they're in mass psychosis. They're in mass delusion. What is it? Psychosomatic manipulation. They stripped away their ability to reason by just hitting them with less than 140 characters of deception, and they're eating it. They're eating the poison, one tweet, one bleep at a time.
Illusions can take many forms, and as madness can manifest in countless ways, the specific manner in which a mass psychosis unfolds will differ based on the historical and cultural context of the infected society. In the past, mass psychoses have led to witch hunts, genocides, and even dancing manias. But in the modern
You mean the witch hunts? You mean the witch hunts like censorship of conservatism in big tech? You mean like the dance of the dance of rioting that the summer of love in Seattle? The summer of love and destruction across our nation's landscape in the name of combating racism, systemic racism? Oh, that dance? Oh, you mean the people twerking in the streets when they were told, listen, those people twerking in the streets, hundreds of them in Chicago, that was causing the spread. That was causing the spread in New York, the spread in Memphis, the spread in every place. But a Donald Trump rally was being labeled as the reason why people were getting sick. It's a mass psychosis. It's a mass psychosis to sit here and look at what happened. We had parades, we had demonstrations, we had people out in the streets parading and protesting what happened to George Floyd, and no one said a thing. There were people who weren't even wearing masks there. But Donald Trump not having anyone wear a mask at his rallies, oh, that's causing the spread, the super spreaders. But you don't want to talk about this sitting there. You're looking at Governor Whitmer, arm in arm, shoulder to shoulder, right on top of black people as they take a knee. But that's not spreading it. That wasn't spreading it. People shoulder to shoulder as they're sitting there protesting. Thousands of people swashed into this one place. But that wasn't causing the spread. It was Donald Trump who was causing the spread. Huh. Very interesting. Yeah, it's a mass psychosis to ignore that data, that evident data. That wasn't causing a spread. Donald Trump was. Yeah.
It is the mass psychosis of totalitarianism that is the greatest threat. Totalitarianism, writes Arthur Versluis, is the modern phenomenon of total centralized state power, coupled with the obliteration of individual human rights.
Hold on a second here. Centralized state power. Wait. You mean we as the people? You mean we as the people? When Joe Biden basically says that, you know what? I'm the government. We are the people. We are the government. This whole we the people nonsense? Oh, no. You guys aren't controlling us. We're controlling you. This is the language of totalitarianism. This is the language of a king. Joe Biden declared himself king, and the media is silent. The media. McFly? Hello? You sat there, Joe Biden crowned himself king. And you said nothing. And, let's disarm the people. Let's take away their right to speak out against us. Let's raid their homes and their businesses because they have incriminating evidence against us. This is exactly what totalitarian states do. This is literally communism happening right before our eyes. But it's easy to let ignorant black folk, white folk, liberal folk, progressive folks, Democrat folk, even some Republican folk, turn around and think that they can sift through the corruption and see where the real threat is.
Centralized state, there are those in power, and there are the objectified masses, the victims. In a totalitarian society, the population is divided into two groups, the rulers and the ruled, and both groups undergo a pathological transformation. The rulers are elevated to an almost godlike status, which is diametrically opposed to our nature as imperfect beings who are easily corrupted by power. The masses, on the other hand, are transformed into the dependent subjects of these pathological rulers and take on...
Now, hold on a second here. Because this is one thing I thought was really interesting, what was just said there a second ago. They said that people can be corrupted by power and addicted to power. You remember when they said that about Donald Trump? So let's work with that, okay? Let's say Donald Trump was addicted and corrupted by power. He was only in office for 4 years. Joe Biden's been in office for at least 48. Who do you really think has been corrupted and addicted to power? I mean, seriously, folks, I can't believe that many of you actually had the mitigated gall to sit there and say that Donald Trump was corrupted with power and that he was making himself king. That you sat there and you sat there and actually said that Donald Trump was addicted to power and controlling people, and you elected a man who's been in office for 48 years. Who do you think would be corrupted more? 4 years versus 47 years? I mean, this is where the mass psychosis is. This is where the mass psychosis is that you could sit there and utter the phrase that Donald Trump is addicted to power, but you won't take out of power the people that have been there 30, 40, 50 years. How dare you? But you sit there and you puff out your chest. See, as he sat there talking about getting rid of the swamp, you should have said yes. But then you pointed to Donald Trump and called him the swamp. That's where you lack the moral fiber and integrity, and you lack the character and consistency in your message. You lost. Your platform is destroyed. Because you can't sit there and say, I don't want another Bush in the White House. I don't want another Trump in the White House. But you, here in Indiana, Andrew Carson is another Carson in Congress. You don't want family dynasties in the White House, but you're pushing for family dynasties. You're supporting family dynasties everywhere else. That inconsistency removes your platform by which you sit there being indignant against Trump and Republicans and conservatives. You have no platform. You're a hypocrite. You are hypocrite. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum. Let's go back to recording.
Psychologically regressed and childlike status. Hannah Arendt, one of the 20th century's preeminent scholars of this form of rule, called totalitarianism an attempted transformation of human nature itself. But this attempted transformation only turns sound minds into sick minds. For as the Dutch medical doctor who studied the mental effects of living under totalitarianism wrote, there is in fact much that is comparable between the strange reactions of the citizens of totalitarianism and their culture as a whole, on the one hand, and the reactions of the sick schizophrenic on the other. The social transformation that unfolds under totalitarianism is built upon and sustained by delusions. For only deluded men and women regress to the childlike status of obedient and submissive subjects, and hand over complete control of their lives to politicians and bureaucrats.
Did you hear that? You have to be deluded to basically give up all your control in your life. There's only one person in this world who ever deserves the level of dedication and dependence that people have in this country that they have on the American government. Well, actually, just people around the world. That people have a level of dependence on their governments more than they have a dependence on God. See, they have erected these political figures to a godlike status, which is a nightmare. It's disgusting. It's horrific because it doesn't help anyone. Lord help us. Lord help us. This is a disaster. He's killing it here. This is exactly what's taking place in this country right now, but people don't want to hear it.
Only a deluded ruling class will believe that they possess the knowledge, wisdom, and acumen to completely control society in a top-down manner. And only when under the spell of delusions would anyone believe that a society composed of power-hungry rulers on the one hand, and a psychologically regressed population on the other, will lead to anything other than mass suffering and social ruin.
Bingo. I mean, there is this illusion to believe. Think about this. Think about this. And folks, who's this been coming from? Come on, let's get real about this. Let's get historic. Democrats have constantly said, you can hear every last one of them, we know better than you. We know better than what to do than you. This is their language. That is the domineering language that basically says that you don't have a right to speak. You don't have a right to do anything. Excuse me, I'm talking. Excuse me, I'm talking. So you can interrupt, but we can't interrupt. You can sit there and have your looks, but the rest of us, we must be quiet. We must shut up and sit down in the corner. No, there's no timeout for us. It's just nothing but subjugation. This is the language of slavery. That basically says you don't have a right, that we know better than you. You remember as I sat there talking to you about slavery yesterday, where what was it called, drapetomania or whatever it was, that talked about the whole idea that the slaves had this affliction of running away. And the only way that you fix it is by basically making them see the benefits of them being under rule. Letting them see the benefits. This is what was posited as science. That you help them stop wanting to run away. There are a lot of Americans. I would say that there are even Democrats in the midst of this. Democrats, Republicans, Libertarians. There are a lot of Americans who are basically saying, "No, I don't want you controlling my life. Don't tell me what to do about a vaccine. Don't tell me what to do about a mask. Don't tell me about where I can spend my money. Don't stop taking my money away. Oh, we're the government. We can do better than you. We're going to charge you $6 trillion so that you could be free." That doesn't make sense. We'll tell you how to do better with your money than you're doing right now. Because that's exactly what $6 trillion is about to do. $6 trillion is about to become a bill that our grandchildren, our children, our grandchildren, their grandchildren pay, because Joe Biden and the government is telling us that we could do this better than you. You've been failing it. Republicans and Democrats have been failing at this for 70, 80, 100 years. Every time they deviate further and further away from the original construction and design of the government in the Constitution, limited in power, not limiting the people, but limiting the people who are in power, that's when you have a successful society, because the American people, we the people, we can breathe. See, long before George Floyd was saying, "I can't breathe," American citizens were saying, "I can't breathe," because of the totalitarianism taking place right now in the guise of we're from the government and we're here to help. Let me do one more.
What triggers the psychosis of totalitarianism?
Triggered.
As was explored in the previous video of this series, the mass psychosis of totalitarianism begins in a society's ruling class. The individuals that make up this class, be it politicians, bureaucrats, or crony capitalists, are very prone to delusions that augment their power, and no delusion is more attractive to the power-hungry than the delusion that they can and should control and dominate a society.
There you go. And there's so much more I can say, but one I forgot to share with you in the beginning was this. I shared some Whoppers, and they were this big. And I'm telling you, anyone who believes the Whopper that the government is going to fix everything is a society ready for tyranny, ripe for tyranny, as we are this very moment. PolitiWhat? Yeah. No. Politics has nothing to do. Politics that's devoid of obedience to the Constitution is nothing but a disaster. Politics that avoids the Constitution is a politics that should not exist at all. I'm your host, Watson Prunier from Battle4Freedom. Let me just sign off. Talk to you later. God bless. Goodbye.